Hi, I'm Sally Thibault, and welcome to the Living Lighter Lunch and Learn show. Today we're talking why 2020 needs a brand new approach to an age-old problem. See you soon. Welcome to the Living Lighter show. Wherever you are, I hope you can hear me. Let me know if you can. And I hope you've got your lunch with you. Let me know what you are having. Quite an extraordinary day today. We've got the television going on in the other room, running the updates for the election in the US. Quite amazing, isn't it, that we're all getting just as much interest in what is happening thousands of miles away. So today I'm really excited to bring this show to you because it's one of my passion things about women and their bodies and how we can be the best we can be. And if anything, 2020 has really shown us that we need a whole new approach to what's gone on. So many people have said that over this time period, they've actually gained more weight and finding it very difficult to shift. And so in this show today, that's what we're going to be talking about. Why it's so difficult to shift, what's really caused it to begin with, and of course, why we need a whole new approach. So thank you to everybody who sent me messages to say that they will be watching the replay. And I look forward to your messages as well as we move into it. All right, as I mentioned before, so many people have told me that 2020 has been really challenging on many aspects. I think a reframe of what we're doing, there's been some decisions that needed to be made. For some people, it's not going back to the way things were before. I know many people I know were forced to work from home and have decided that that's what they're going to do. And I know for many people, though, it's been an incredibly stressful time because of the unknown and the uncertainty. And because of that, that's why for many people, the weight has gone on. It's actually not a lot to do with food, although I know for many people are tending to eat a little bit more, but really that's not the issue. The issue is visceral fat versus subcutaneous fat. And in particular, why knowing the difference is really important. And that's why it calls for a different approach. You know, all the things that we've done in the past have all been about, diet, exercise, all that stuff. And really, that's not what the solution to this particular problem is. And really, when you look at it, really not been the solution to any problem, really. Because when you decided that, you carried a few extra kilos, it's important that you talk in terms of releasing the weight that no longer serves you, but it must happen emotionally first. For many people, this particular year has been very challenging, as I mentioned before, because it's so uncertain. And that uncertainty, that unknown, that constant kind of level of fear that seems to have permeated our planet this year causes that low-grade anxiety to rise, that constant sense of I'm not being in control. And when that happens, what goes on is that the body continues to produce cortisol. And when that happens, that cortisol, when it's laid down, when we're not doing anything about our stress levels, the body naturally lays that down as visceral fat. So I'm just going to check here everybody can hear me. Hey, good morning, Janie. And well, I guess it's good afternoon, actually, isn't it, where you are in New Zealand? Lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining us. I hope you get a lot out of it today. Where we're going, releasing the weight that no longer serves you emotionally first. The issue isn't food, as much as we kind of will think it is. The issue is, in all of this, it's our stress levels. Now, why is this so difficult this time? Because when you, as I mentioned before, in your constant level state of high cortisol, the body produces cortisol to help protect us. So in times when we're in fear or unknown or uncertainty, that level just rises. Have you ever seen that image of a frog in a pot? You know, if you're feeling stressed, that you always feel stressed, it's like they can turn the dial up. If you put a frog in a pot of cold water and continue to turn the dial up, the frog would just sit there. But if you boiled some water, put the frog in it, would jump back out again. But I really sense this year for a lot of us, those knobs have been turning up. The intensity has been turning up, and we're kind of just sitting in it. And as I mentioned before, we've had the TV on for most of the day watching what's going on in the US, and everybody I'm following is saying the same thing. They're very nervous. They're very nervous about any outcome, but also the ramifications of whatever outcome. Again, you can feel that tension and stress rise, and it might be, you know, this might go on for a few days yet. Now, when that level of stress rises, as I mentioned, it causes the body to produce energy. So cortisol signals to the adrenal glands to produce energy, the flight, fight, and freeze response. And when you're stressed, you should be doing something. Flight, run, fight, stand and get aggressive, or freeze. And often that comes from I can't think. Now, days gone past, that energy was needed to do something, run, fight, or play dead. The blood flow leaves the frontal lobes, goes to the arms and the legs in order to do something. But when we don't do that, we tend to just eat to try to calm the stress, have a glass of wine, calm the stress, just sit on the couch and just nobody talk to me. The body is continually producing the energy. And because you're not doing anything, lays it down as visceral fat. Now, why is visceral fat what we need to be focused on in preference to subcutaneous fat? Because visceral fat has been linked to issues such as type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and some cancers. It's a heavier, denser fat that tends to wrap itself around our organs, in particular belly fat. For many people, that's the belly fat. Now, subcutaneous fat is you've had a few extra meals, you know, maybe you've missed out on a couple of walking and you're just feeling that little bit of extra sort of pouch. That's okay. We don't really worry about that. But visceral fat we need to be concerned about because it also impacts on our immune system. And if anything out of 2020 we need to really focus on is keeping your immune system high at peak performance. Now, one of the biggest issues, and this is why we need a different approach to this in 2020, is that restrictive eating and intensive exercise increase stress. So if you've been carrying a few extra kilos and you say to yourself, oh, I need to diet, or I need to watch what I eat, or I can't eat bad food, I can only eat good food, your stress levels are rising because that's not a natural state to be in. Restrictive eating is not a natural state to be in, nor is intensive exercise. I'm talking long-term intensive exercise. I'll share with you in a minute why exercising for a shorter period of time is much better for you. But the minute you move into restrictive eating, and thinking to yourself, I have to restrict, your stress levels go up. So you're creating more cortisol. You're laying down more visceral fat. That's why it doesn't work. Diets, there was a study, a long-term study done over many diets over 20 years to find that women in particular who died, 99% of them were put on weight within a year and if not more. So that's not the solution. The second thing that I really feel this wordage that we use, I want to, need to lose weight, will always set you up to fail. That's a negative connotation. It's like a judgment of yourself. I want to lose weight means there's something wrong with you. And there isn't. There's nothing wrong with you, perfect the way you are. And I hear this coming from my clients a lot. I need to lose weight. No, don't say that. Just don't say that. Here's why. I mentioned on the show last week, we have about 6,000 thoughts a day. This is a new Canadian study. 6,000 thoughts per day. Of that, 95% are the same as yesterday. And of that, 85% of those 95% are often negative. When you're saying things to yourself like, I need to lose weight, I have to lose weight, I want to lose weight, you're setting up that thought train we talked about last week, where I need to lose weight because I'm fat and I don't look good and here I go again and blah, blah, blah. And you set up this whole thought train that goes along with this belief that I need to lose weight. No, you don't need to lose weight. You need to release the weight that no longer serves you, because the weight came on, remember, during COVID for a reason. It is uncertain times. So the body's producing cortisol to try and keep you safe. Okay, it's uncertain. Okay, what do I need to do? I need to wrap myself around a little bit extra weight. That's what we need to do. If you set up a judgment call on that, then that's a judgment of yourself, because the weight was there for a reason. It's come to protect you. So it's a far better way to look at it in terms of releasing the weight that no longer serves me. It was there for a purpose. It always is. All our extra weight that we carry is always there for a purpose. It's there to protect us. It's there for us to feel safer, heavier, bigger, stronger, and that's what it's there for. So it's that real shift of a mindset that's just incredibly important at this time. And so that means you can't solve the issue of visceral fat the way we've always done, restrictive eating, extra dieting, telling ourselves we need to lose weight. It can't do that. So I want to share with you right now the 4 steps, right, to releasing the weight that no longer serves you. I hope you got some pen and paper to write this down. Let me just check the messages. Jen Hines, oh, looking forward to this. Great to have you here, Jen. Great to have you here. All right, let's look at the 4 steps to releasing weight that no longer serves you. Number 1, ditch restriction, embrace intuitive eating. Oh, this is my heart song. I'm sure I've been put on the planet to do this. I'm sure I have. To teach people to trust their body. We're women. That's what we do. We listen to our intuition. And it's incredibly important to release that restrictive mentality, that diet mentality, that little voice in your head that tells you you're good, you're bad, you're stupid, you're fat, you're ugly, all that stuff. It's got to go. And when that goes and you can trust your intuition, so wonderful. And there's 4 steps to intuitive eating, where you're an individual, you begin to allow yourself to eat anything you want. Then you learn to trust your intuition, and then you learn to accept those choices without judgment. And finally, you learn to listen, do kind of a body scan to figure out what foods do not agree with you, because your body consistently tells you. For me, it's dairy and gluten. And it was funny because last month I did a whole series of videos, 31 a day, 31 a day, one a day for 31 days. And I can tell the videos where we've had chocolate the night before. I can see it in my face. And, that's probably my big go-to if I'm stressed, is I actually eat chocolate. And my husband, if anyone who's met my husband, who's thin as a rake, always has been, and he can eat whatever I was going to say something else then, whatever he likes. And so he's always had, and being Canadian, always loves his sweets at night. So we've been having chocolate, and I can tell. And you know what? It's like, stop. I don't want to do this to my body anymore. My body's already telling me what it wants and needs, and my job is to honor it. So even to me, after I've been doing this all these years, I still have to remind myself. Next is a 4-step approach to physical well-being. I'm going to keep right on time here, so we've got 7 more minutes to go. The 4-step approach to physical well-being. Again, this is another one of my passions. I was a fitness instructor for 15 years, and my life, literally all my kids grew up in a gym. I loved it, but, it's different now. I'm not 30 anymore. And so things have to change. And in order for that to do that, there's 4 aspects of this. And these are key exercise elements essential for women over the age of 45, what I'm about to share with you. These are essential for women over the age of 45. Let's look at the first. Number 1, what we call HIIT, high intensive interval training, that changes the cellular DNA to provide more energy. Now, what is HIIT training? You don't need to be running hard and fast on a treadmill for 25 minutes. Simply this: you can go for a 20-minute walk, and in that 20-minute walk, and I'm assuming that when you're walking, you're putting on a bit of speed for the walk, 2 20-second bursts of what we call high energy, high intensity interval training. In other words, 20 seconds going as fast as you can and coming back to that normal, and doing it twice in a 20-minute walk elevates elevates the energy in the body. Now, what's really interesting about HIIT training, now you see it a lot, you might see athletes do it a lot, you know, they'll especially sprinters, they do a lot of that HIIT training. But as we age, we don't need to be going crazy. So you want something that you can do and do it well. And for me, I find for me, it works really well. If somebody tells me to run, I'm not going to stick with it because it hurts. I don't like it. But my legs are too short to run and they hurt. But walking 20 minutes to 20-second HIIT as fast as you can for 20 seconds and then rest is brilliant. Now, this is interesting. There was a 2018 French study that found that HIIT significantly reduced abdominal belly fat and visceral belly fat. So you don't have to do an hour's long workout anymore. 20 minutes to HIIT and that will work for you. Next, strength training. And again, you don't have to go to a gym. You can do it at home if you like. I'm passionate about simple exercises like push-ups, squats, tricep dips, lunges, planks, anything you can do in front of the TV, basically. And this is, as we get over the age of 45, essential to improve strength, bone density, and increase metabolism, because as we age, we begin to lose muscle mass, which impacts, number one, on our bone density, but number two, impacts on our metabolism. Just quietly, if you've dieted a lot or, you know, restricted eating a lot when you were younger, your metabolism is probably already screwed up. So just adding things like 10 push-ups, 10 squats, 10 lunges. At the end of a workout, I've got a 9-minute workout that I do. And that's all I do. That's it. It's pretty simple. Form and posture, again, as we age, really, really critical. In fact, I say to clients all the time, I don't care what you're doing. I'd rather you do 5 push-ups properly than 25 incorrectly. And there's something about, as we age, to be really tuned into the way our body works. But it helps strengthen your lower back in particular, which is we've got to guard against injury. Improves circulation and oxygenates the blood, improving mood and perception. So that's all with form and posture, when you're bringing in the mind and the body and focusing on how you do it. It's what people do yoga or Pilates, really powerful. And finally, flexibility. Flexibility, so reduces risk of injury and helps you gain a more youthful appearance. And don't we all, give me a heart if you'd rather like a more youthful appearance. I'm not saying you don't have one. I just want age. I want to add it on. In particular, stretching. So we're talking flexibility. We're talking stretching. Really, really important. And I know for a lot of people, they forget about that part. But that is just critically important. And again, for me, it's about 2 minutes I spend stretching. That's it. 5 maybe. Sometimes, depending on the day. If I've been sitting a lot the day before, I tend to do that. The next aspect of this change that we need to go to the 4-step approach is hormonal well-being, and that includes watching your stress, keeping those levels of cortisol down. 2020's most used hormone for the award, I think, would be cortisol. We're all feeling it, and of course it lays down that visceral fat. And it impacts on our mood and impacts on our ability to recall information. If you're highly stressed, it's very difficult for you to think clearly. Adrenaline, many women suffer adrenal fatigue. Inflammation, watching the foods that you eat in particular that cause inflammation. So those processed foods, high sugar foods, for me, it happens to be dairy. I've got to be very careful of that. And sleep. Sleep is incredibly important. Because there's 2 hormones that impact when we don't get enough sleep. Ghrelin, which regulates hunger, and leptin, which tells you when you're full. And when you're not getting enough sleep, your levels of ghrelin go up, your levels of leptin go down, which means you're hungrier and you eat more. And also when you don't get enough sleep, cortisol levels are high and you tend to reach for foods like, highly processed foods, sweet foods, because just you need that lift, right? I'm going to get that lift. So looking after your sleep. 4th one is emotional well-being. Incredibly important, because this is where the decisions are made from your emotions. So 1, understanding your personality type, making sure that you understand, the 4 personality types and what you are. 2, soul purpose versus life purpose, understanding what you're actually really good at and how you implement or intertwine that with your life purpose, what you're doing right now, that's your life purpose. Whatever you're doing right now is your life purpose. And you're making sure that the soul purpose is there. Number 3 is releasing the impact of past stories and limitations. Incredibly important. I can't tell you how that impacts on decisions that you make, the limitations, the beliefs, because those 6,000 thoughts that scourge through your mind every day and that train of thought that builds. And 4 is owning your own self-worth and value. The difference in the decisions you make based on your own self-worth and value are huge. I know people that are more concerned about the petrol they put in their car or the oil they put in the car than the food they put in their mouth. If you were driving down the road and your car started chugging because you just put some bad petrol in it, you take it straight back to the station and get that fixed. But if you're not eating right and you're chugging along, not have no energy, we just keep eating it. So every aspect also impacts on the reduction of telomeres. Now, what are the telomeres? Telomeres are the little caps that sit on the end of our DNA, and as we age, they shorten. But the things that cause the shortening of the telomeres, in other words, things that cause you to age, are stress, poor diet, not enough exercise, and sleep issues, and environmental factors as well. So by following this particular way of releasing the weight that no longer serves you, you're not only letting go of that emotionally and then physically, you're actually aging better, aging youthfully, and that's what we want. All right. Now, I wanted to let you know all of this I'm talking about, because this is real quick in 20 minutes. I have a masterclass that's being released next Tuesday, and it's a bit longer, about 50 minutes. And what do I do with it? And in the masterclass, what I do is go through each and everything that I've just talked about. What have I done? I'll see that there, and I'm going to put this in the comments. I'm going to come back and have a look at the comments in a minute. And on the masterclass, so you can register for the masterclass. It's right here. Tuesday it's going up about 45. I said 50 minutes, and go much deeper into it, much deeper to everything I've just talked about. Because I can't do it in a 20 minute show. So I'm going to go back, and I'm just going to say hello to everybody. Deborah, hello. Lovely to see you here. Are you a grandmother yet, Deb? Very exciting time for you. Who's this? Nicole. Hi, Nicole. Lovely to see you here. Jen. Lovely, everybody. An error has occurred, and so it's not going to show. I'm going to put the link there's the link to the masterclass. For some reason, it is not showing up in the chat box. Let me know if this was helping me. I'd love you. There we go. It should be there now. Love to see you on the masterclass next Tuesday. 10 o'clock is the Stronger, Leaner, Lighter masterclass. And it's the holistic approach to releasing the weight that no longer serves you. First emotionally, and then physically. And you release it emotionally, and then physically. Deb, not yet 2 false alarms. Oh, fingers crossed for a very safe birth. I hope Deborah becoming a grandmother. Lovely to see you. We look forward to seeing you on Facebook with all the beautiful baby photos. Hello, Angela. Lovely to see you here. Hello, Kay from Cunnamulla. Lovely to see you. I chatted to Kay yesterday. She's all the way out in Cunnamulla. Amazing. We were just saying that on our call that the internet was better at Cunnamulla. We often have trouble when we're chatting. Lovely to see you. All right, everybody. We are at 20 minutes. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Please share this with someone who you think might be struggling with this whole releasing that visceral fat. Remember, we want to think visceral belly fat. Thinking about that, right? Not subcutaneous fat. Think in terms of releasing that stress, releasing past limitations, exercising to make you feel better, and you're not putting extra stress and strain on your body. And of course, and always, intuitive eating, my favorite. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And thank you once again, for joining me on the Living Live at Lunch and Learn show. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.